Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
I'm Chet.
I'm Richard.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Wendy.
And we are excited to interview Jackson about
From UMOM.
UMOM.
Yes.
Yay.
Well, we talked a little bit about UMOM before with Wendy because you've been involved with them for a while. But
Yeah.
So why don't one of you give the recap of what UMOM actually does?
Now I can talk a little bit about why I got involved, and then I'll hand it over to Jackson because he's obviously the expert, being the CEO. I did a lot of hands-on volunteer work throughout the Valley, and then while I was working at the Arizona Republic, I got involved with something called Season for Sharing, where every holiday season raised several $1 million and distributed it to local foundations. And so I was on the grant review committee, and it was a really cool experience. I got to read the grant applications of foundations all over the Valley. And after finishing with that committee appointment, I decided I wanted to get more involved with the administrative side of nonprofit work, and I decided I wanted to join a board. And so I reached out to the person running for Season Sharing at the time, and he said, I'm happy to help you get on a board. First, you need to pick a mission. And I said, I want to work on homelessness. And I said, the UMOM application really got my attention.
Oh.
That's the one I think I'd like to shoot for. And so I joined 5 years ago, I think now. Yeah, 2019. And then, a year or two later, Jackson took over as CEO.
Just had my 4-year anniversary last week.
Congrats. That's a big deal. Yay.
Yeah.
And I feel like 5 years ago is right as this homeless crisis really started to
Kind
get
of picking up a little bit.
Yeah, significantly worse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
where it's more noticeable in every city in
Right.
Arizona, and then far worse in other states. It's kind of a
definitely-
nationwide crisis. But
It is. And the reason I was so attracted to UMOM is, number one, the main community that we serve is families and women. And I felt there was really a need for that, to serve those specific communities. And the other thing I really liked about it is it's a rapid rehousing model. And I'll let Jackson speak a little bit more about that. But the way I look at it is it's a hand up, not a handout. It's truly helps
so
get
important.
these people back on their feet. And those were my two favorite things.
Well, today I spoke to a few people and they had no clue about UMOM. So
Let's spread the
tell us what
word.
it's about. And I told them to tune in.
Well, that's a good way to tee me up. So thank you.
You got it.
Yeah, it's our 60th anniversary. UMOM focuses on families and single women, like Wendy mentioned. Our mission is to end family homelessness by restoring hope and rebuilding lives. So we do that for about 600 families a year and 600 single women a year. And we offer the whole gamut of services from emergency shelter to jobs all the way to affordable housing. So the entire organization is built around a very simple formula that is jobs plus housing that end homelessness. It's not a place to hang out, it's a place to work hard, and we nudge them hard enough so that they work, and soft enough and with love and kid gloves to provide them with the support that they need.
it's a realistic approach then.
It is.
You have to push somebody to get back on their feet like that.
Well, they only have 90 days with us, so the clock
That's important.
starts ticking right away. So
We'll talk about that then. How does that work?
Well,
Right,
you've
right.
got an emergency shelter, so they're coming to us from their car or from a hotel voucher or from, behind a Walmart or a campsite or somebody's couch. And
So somebody finds them and brings them to you?
not necessarily. They find us. They can come through 211, that emergency number, and they can get vetted on that number, and you're essentially brought through what's called the Family Housing Hub. Right, the hub is what those folks interview you, they assess you, and they put you on a waiting list, and we try to find emergency shelter right away. So we are the largest shelter for families in the state of Arizona, but we're not the only shelter. There are about 5 or 6 of them, but that wait list to get into a shelter, wait for it, 300 families long and 8 weeks long.
Wow.
Where is the shelter?
Ours, right down the street, 1.8 miles. I clipped it off
Oh,
from
okay.
here on 32nd and Van Buren.
Right.
And so let's say you take in a family or a mom with 3 kids.
Yeah,
Do they all stay in the same room?
they do. They do. It's a 1959 Days Inn that's been converted to an emergency shelter. We can talk about that.
So
in a
one
bit.
question I have is how could we make that waiting list smaller? Would that be with people donating so that the UMOM can build a bigger infrastructure? Like what kind of steps need to be taken so that there would be larger capacities that more than 600 families could be helped per year? Because that's a great number.
That's a great question.
But there's just, it's such a growing problem.
Got 300 more.
Yeah, how, basically, what are the steps that need to be taken for UMOM to be able to grow?
Great question, right? So yes, you need more capacity. So we've got 150 or so family rooms. Those rooms can accommodate 3, 5, 7, 9 people. And the faster we can get them through the system and out the door with a job and with housing, the faster you can get those families off the waiting list and get them into our shelter or another person's shelter. But that's just one piece of it, Chet. There are other ways. You want to get them on the front end, you get them in the middle with better jobs, you get them at the end with better housing, faster housing. So there's not a silver bullet to solve the problem. There are several forces at play and several
That could all make it more efficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it sounds like money is kind of square one, so people should be donating to these causes if they really want to see an improvement.
Absolutely.
Well, and how do people donate? I want to say that right off the beginning, just in case. Are you okay?
Bless you.
Bless you.
Allergy season.
Yeah, I mean, this is
bless.
that giving season, right? October, November, December typically is crazy. About 65% of all your donations come in those 90 days. And so you can go right to our website at umom.org, donate now, easy peasy. We have the typical events, the galas and a 5K coming up and those kinds of things.
Okay.
You can also do things like a diaper drive, a mattress drive, clothing drives, things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of ways to help.
Because just the other day, I literally gave money to somebody who was asking for it on the street, but I was like, wow, I should have sent that to UMOM because then you know it's 100% going to help somebody get back into housing. Can't be
That's right.
spent on anything recreational.
That's right.
That's your best bet. Whether it's UMOM or somebody else, your best
Yeah.
bet is to put it in the hands of an organization that knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Handing it out on the street is not the way to go.
Yeah, so if you're listening and the next time somebody taps in your car and you're about to donate, think of UMOM and send them the
Yeah.
money, because ultimately that's going to tackle homelessness as an issue long term.
Yeah. It
So-
does.
so
And
if you're
also
going
keep in
through-
mind, real quick, there's a tax credit available from the state
Oh,
of
that's
Arizona.
important.
I believe it's still $400
It
for
is.
singles, $800 for
That's important.
double filers, and that's an actual. It's not just a deduction. It's
Tax
cash back.
credit, cash back.
That's wonderful. So if you're going through your closet and you're getting rid of stuff and you're going to take it to the Goodwill, can we take it to UMOM?
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's so important because
We have
I
we have a separate clothing closet that we outfit, and we keep not refurbishing, but restocking over and over and over because our clients are brought through that clothing closet in preparation for interviews and
Yeah,
jobs
of
and
course.
things like that.
So you totally take donations for that then.
Absolutely.
That's so
Right on.
important.
We have a
Oh my gosh.
12,000 square foot warehouse. We take in everything: household goods, clothing, and some of the other things that I already mentioned.
Oh wow. Okay, that we really need to get the word out with that because I think most people do take their stuff to Goodwill. I love Goodwill. I'm not putting it down, but I think that's for profit, and you're directly.
Yeah, I
Helping
mean, we're
people
gonna
that are homeless.
It's called
take it.
nonprofit.
There are a
It
lot
was
of good organizations out there, but I'm always gonna ring the UMOM bell loudest. I get
Yes.
that. You know.
Yes. Well, I feel like Richard. You didn't know about UMOM.
Oh yeah, I've known about it for years.
Okay. I thought you were the one that said you didn't know about it.
No. My sister was involved with UMOM very closely when she was in Phoenix Rotary.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, okay. I thought you were the one that said you hadn't heard about it. Well, I hadn't heard about it till Wendy told me about it. So I'm a newbie,
Okay.
and
Awesome.
I help child help, and I do a lot with child help, and then also Alice Cooper, Solid Rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and Goodwill. So those three are my,
Good
kind of my
places.
babies.
No,
So
good
yeah,
places too.
they're all great.
Mhm.
So how does when you are trying to get these people working, how do you do that? What does that look like?
We have a separate workforce development center, an employment center. It's fully staffed. It's got a whole bunch of computers in it, and the whole idea is to get people prepared for work, find them work, and put them in a place where they are successful after they've received the job.
Yeah.
So everything from resumes to job hunting, Zoom interviews, in-person interviews. We have employers that come on the campus and have job fairs, and we only have companies that come who are ready to hire. If you're not ready to hire, or companies are, maybe they're just trying to get the word out, we don't want them to come, because I know that sounds kind of strange, but
No, that makes sense.
We really want our clients.
You want to be efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
We do, and our folks need
Let's
jobs.
talk about
They
a
need
job
work.
we
Yeah.
might have for you later. No, let's have a job
Right.
for you now.
So it's not
Yeah.
uncommon to have an employer come out and hire a dozen of our folks, 5 of
Nice.
our folks, 3 of our folks. We're always
Wow.
looking for something a little bit higher on the wage scale, $17, $18, $20 an hour. So, and we offer all of that, including employee prep. That's my favorite classes, because a lot of folks have either never been in the workforce, or they are returning to the workforce, and maybe they've forgotten how to act, or maybe they've had to survive on the street for a while and they need a little help, like we all might, and in terms of professionalism and just working with folks and being the best person you can possibly
Yeah.
be. So we teach those classes.
In addition to that, we have Helpings Cafe, which is another way that you can help support UMOM. There's actually an open to the public cafe on site. Fantastic food, actually. So not only does the kitchen behind Helpings serve the food at Helpings and offers catering services, holiday parties, shout out, holiday
Yay.
parties, Helpings Cafe, catering. But also the kitchen serves all the residents, right? And so the residents can also get food handlers cards and get ready to maybe go out and work in a restaurant. We also have a partnership with Starbucks. They can get the Starbucks barista training, and then maybe eventually get employment with Starbucks. So
What about something like Costco? Because I know they're hiring a lot.
We can do it, absolutely. Yeah. Boy, listen to you with that Helpings Cafe. You must be a board member. Let me expand on that a little bit, because that's my favorite program. It's called a social enterprise, which means the money that we make gets pumped back into the program. And it's a twofer, right? The client wins and UMOM wins. So the participant or the client goes through a 6-week course. They learn front of the house and back of the house skills in a restaurant, just like Wendy mentioned, cashier, food handlers, Starbucks barista. We have Starbucks products, and we are guaranteed, our clients are guaranteed an interview with Starbucks when they graduate from this program.
How
And
nice.
85% of all of our graduates receive jobs at graduation. So
Really?
It's very exciting. Absolutely.
80%.
That's
a great rate.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So that's a program. You got that catering piece we talked about that not long ago. It barely made $50,000-$60,000 a year. We're going to be close to $600,000
Whoa.
This year. We did our
didn't
first
realize
wedding.
that.
We catered our own gala with
Wow.
350 people. We do holiday parties, birthday parties. I'm having my executive team at my house coming up in November. They'll cater that. They know what they're doing, and it is open to the public, like Wendy mentioned, Monday through Friday. But all of your catering.
So
needs,
anybody can
they
hire
kill
them?
it. Anybody.
Wow,
So
that's
I
a big
assume that
deal.
the,
That's
the,
huge.
the catering
Yeah.
portion, the whole
Wow.
kitchen, the catering, is all staffed by
The UMOM.
UMOM employees, which also include some of our participants.
Yeah,
They're going through the
but
training
not all of
program.
it. But so you have
Well,
professional.
sometimes we steal. No, we
Yeah.
have professional chefs.
Yeah,
These aren't
of course.
just line
Yeah.
cooks.
So yeah, these are professional chefs where
They
you
are.
can actually learn the industry
Yes.
from yeah.
Yes, and then we
Perfect.
steal them. Right.
Learn
But
by
Frank-
doing
you
is
be
such a
frank-
great
you
way
be
to
frank
learn.
about it.
Right,
We take the best, and we keep them right there. UMOM,
yeah.
which I like. Chet, what were you asking?
I was just commenting that learning by doing is a great way to teach people.
Well, it
Yeah.
is, and it's more than just the job and the skill.
Especially in the restaurant industry, you can't read a book and say, "Oh, okay."
No.
You walk around with a book in the restaurant.
And they're very shy when they start. They hardly make eye contact with
Yeah,
me. I'm
yeah.
just talking about me here for a second, because I come in every day and I want my Starbucks, right? It's a beautiful thing, and I'm addicted to coffee, and they hardly look at me. And by week 3, all of a sudden we're having conversations. By week 4,
Yeah.
we're laughing together, we're talking. What I'm talking about here is the human dignity piece, the confidence, and the fact that they are going to finish something that they started, and they're going to have a certificate, and their families are very proud of them, and it's a big deal.
So
It
where are
is a
their
big deal.
kids? Like, let's say it's a homeless mom that now is going through this program and trying to become a barista, where are the children?
So
Are
at
they
any
being
given time,
babysat?
you've got 250 to 300 kids on our campus.
Okay.
Stop for a moment and just think about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
300
Wow.
kids on our campus.
Wow.
So
Wow.
number one, they're in school, so they're picked up every morning.
Okay.
They're nice and quiet, and it's early in the morning. In the afternoon at 2:30, all Hades breaks loose and the buses pull up, and I can't think straight. And they're running around. But we also have an after-school program with an on-site Boys and Girls Club.
First time I
Wow.
think Boys and
Connected
Girls
with the
Club
Boys
has
and Girls
ever.
Club?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful.
First time they
Wow.
think they've done
It is. It's one of the
I'll
only
say
ones in
partnership
the
with
United
this.
States on a homeless campus. And so the kids have structured programming. They do their homework there, very outcome oriented. So in answer to your question a couple of minutes ago, the kids are there or they're in school while the moms or the caregivers or whomever is taking care of the kids, they are doing two things.
Okay.
They're looking for a job and they're looking for housing. That's it. We push them, we push them, we push them.
And they only have 90 days to do that. And
Got about 90 days. Yes.
so when the kids get back from school, then what happens?
Well, I mean, you've got your
stuff on site.
They do.
You've
Yeah,
got
we've got-
playgrounds, basketball courts,
Yep.
crafts.
You got a
the-
brand new
the Boys and
basketball
Girls
court
stuff.
from the Phoenix Suns. Ask me later
Wow.
about why that's so special.
Mhm.
But we
Well,
have
tell us now. I want to hear about the.
I was gonna
inside.
say, what are some of these cool partnerships?
So there's a partnership right there. The
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns just
Mhm.
donated a new basketball court, and
Wow.
we had one anyway in the playground. It was your typical inner city basketball hoop. The rim was hanging off. There was no net. That backboard looked like something my brother and I tore down when we were 12. And we applied for a grant and we got it. And they came in with beautiful baskets and a nice floor, a special outdoor floor. And what's so special about this, besides the fact that the kids just love this, is it is one of my favorite stories at UMOM. I got to think back to about a year ago when we had a very prominent politician, that'll go unnamed, visit the campus, and I gave that person a tour. And they brought a couple of senior staff members with them. And this guy, staff member, was standing in the middle of the basketball court, and he was just staring up into space, up over the backboard. And I said, "Hey, man, what are you thinking about?" And he said, "I got thousands of hours on this court." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I was here 10 years ago with my mother."
Really?
Oh.
Wow.
Collective gasp. I said, "What do you mean?"
Oh.
Wow.
He said, "Yeah, man, we lived here. We barely made ends meet. We were homeless for about 3 months, and we lived here. She got a job, and we got out of here. We got housing, and he had a pretty
Wow.
prominent job with this politician, and yeah, that one left a
Cool.
mark on me."
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's an awesome success
We also
story.
have a Phoenix Children's Hospital clinic right on site. So really a lot of fantastic partnerships.
We do. That's staffed by docs and nurses from PCH, right? That is a special partnership, and they are busy from morning until late afternoon. Everybody is funneled through there, and I say that because a lot of times when you're experiencing homelessness, your condition, your health gets deferred. Yeah, I'll worry about that. I got a sore arm. Oh, I'll worry about that later, or cold, or so they come and they realize the service is free, and whether it's for COVID shots, vaccinations, flu shots, blood pressure, physicals, it's so successful, and some of the employees have been there for so long. I'm not making this up, you ready? So people leave UMOM and they get housing, and they bring their kids back to UMOM to the docs to be seen because they trust them.
Oh,
They can do that.
That's amazing. That's
Well,
amazing.
I'm not thrilled that they do
Yeah.
it because it puts pressure on them.
I was gonna
But what am I
say.
going to say? No,
Yeah.
I think it's an awesome thing.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
incredible. So if the kids need counseling for maybe maybe the dad's gone, or maybe they've been through some abuse, is there counseling for the children and the parents?
There is. We've got we recommend that out. We connect them with the services, so that can be done on site or that can be done off site. Yeah, if it's a single woman, the opportunity for her to get counseling is high because she's probably running from an abuser, or she's experienced some kind of domestic violence situation.
Yeah.
Families, it's a 50-50, but they've been through so much trauma that they need something. They got to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And so why not us, and why not a professional counselor? Yes.
And so you have that on site.
Some of it's on site, and a lot of it's with
amount.
partners out in the community, and we can connect them easily.
But that's free for them.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. So they get that. Okay. And what if it's a father that's been abused and now he's with the kids?
Well, we have single fathers. Absolutely.
Okay, so men are allowed too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
No,
you
across,
mom.
across the
Yeah.
street you have the single women.
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
it was
there's-
just women.
there's
That's only women.
Yeah, we have
and
two
then,
separate shelters right across the street.
Yep,
Yeah.
then on the south side
So you have
of
fathers
Van
too?
Buren, yes, we do. Although I will
Good.
tell you,
You dad.
don't say that.
You mom and you dad.
That's right.
Okay.
70% of all of our clients our families are led by a single woman. So that's a big percentage.
Yeah,
And then
I
of course you
believe- I believe
got
that.
almost 100 women across the street at the Single Women's Center.
But then you also have dads.
Yeah.
We do have dads.
Sometimes
Okay.
the mom and dad are there together.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's say it's a dad that comes in by
That's
himself.
fine too.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, okay.
But they're
So-
going to be in the family side. The Women's Heli Shelters, just single women, no, without children.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Until just now, I thought it was only women and their kids. Okay.
No.
So that's good. You're helping
Yeah.
dads too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes dads are
Families
abused.
and women.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, even if they're not abused and they've experienced homelessness and they've got a family, we're going to take them and we're going to help them.
what if it's a single man that doesn't have any kids?
Going to go to some a place like Keys to Change or CAS or another organization that is UMOM like, that specifically serve single men or chronic homelessness.
Okay. And those were again.
A place like CAS or a place like formerly known as the Human Services Campus. They now refer to themselves as Keys to Change.
Keys to change. Keys to change. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So there's a place for them
Yeah,
too.
there's a lot of services.
Yes, in
out
fact,
for
there are
men.
more services for them.
Yes.
Way
more.
Really?
more.
Yes.
Yes, the families are secondary.
Mhm.
Listen to me, ring that bell loud. We are secondary because we're hidden and we're not talked about enough. And it is a very fast growing portion of homelessness because it is hidden. And the reason it is hidden is because most of those single mothers do not want you to take their kids away from them. They fear that you're going to take their kids.
Yep.
So they
Family
stay in their
services.
car and they hunker down at a
Yep.
hotel.
Oh,
And that's how
Yep.
it works.
Yep. Yep,
that's
exactly.
so sad.
It is
And
sad.
family
It's so
service
sad.
does take kids. That
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah, they
That's
do.
so sad.
Yep.
So this is where we have to tell everybody out there, if you're listening to this, please donate to UMOM and tell everybody you know about it.
Yes,
Because
please.
I
We will
spoke to
spend the money wisely. We promise.
I have spoke
Look
to
us up. It's it's the best rating a nonprofit can have
Oh,
in terms of how much of the money goes where it's supposed to go.
And our outcomes,
Yes.
our outcomes are off the charts.
Off the charts.
Now this might be a silly question, but I know I eat at some restaurants, a lot of restaurants, and I've asked some of these restaurants when, let's say somebody sends something back because they brought you the wrong thing. Oh, I ordered a hamburger, not this chicken sandwich, and they take it back once it's been in front of you. Some of the restaurants have to throw it away. Do you take food from restaurants?
No.
No.
No, we have our own on-site commercial kitchen. It's huge,
Mm-hmm.
very dynamic. They produce thousands of meals a year. And to try to take that from restaurants would be too risky.
Yeah.
It's a health risk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens a lot are those plates or those platters get delivered, maybe in terms of street outreach or something like that, but not to UMOM.
Okay, what about you take food? If people want to donate food,
As long as it's
or do you just prefer money?
no, we would take food. We would take canned food and things like that.
Okay.
Not fresh food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If somebody had a pallet of cans or
Yeah,
box
absolutely.
Are
Yes.
you working with any local farmers at all?
That's a good question.
Produce? That's not a bad idea.
I don't think we are.
You know, there are
I don't think we
programs,
are.
like my friend Maya has Maya's Farm down in
Oh,
South Mountain area,
yeah.
and she's working now with ASU with this program, and she's also working with kids at Garfield's elementary
That's a
school.
great idea. Richard, I like
So
that.
there are some,
I'd have to run that down.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, and I'm just guessing. I could be way wrong here, Richard. But because we've got the commercial kitchen also, and we're preparing everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to know the source really well, and you got to protect yourself from
Well,
the
but hold on.
safety.
Maya goes into schools and teaches kids how to
Yeah, well, it's also
garden.
the
So what if you
watermelon
did that
project.
there?
Yeah.
There's the
You could do that
watermelon
there.
project, which is
She's been on the show
bunch of
a few
restaurants,
times. Yeah.
owners who
That's how I know.
work with the local farmers,
Mm-hmm.
organic farmers, and
Yeah, it'd be cool if we could do a garden.
A
on
garden, that's what I'm
campus.
thinking.
yeah,
Garden.
even something,
I don't know if we have
even a
space.
Because they're
your
giving
own
kids something to
garden
do.
on campus
That could be cool.
would be pretty cool.
That'd be nurturing.
That's
I really like that idea.
yep,
We'll have
that
to introduce
project
you to
has come
Maya.
up. Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah.
So what,
Perfect.
like, basically will have to happen for UMOM to expand? Because, like, literally that's the only thing I would say. I wish there was more locations, because it seems like it's a growing issue in Tempe and, like, the West Valley too. Right now there's just the one location, right?
We have a few others.
Okay, really? So it's growing.
Yes, I'll let Jack.
That's awesome.
Well,
That's a
we
good
have
question.
one campus where the emergency shelter is, but what we have, I think what Wendy is referring to, is we build our own affordable housing.
Mhm.
So we're our own developer.
Mhm.
So you have to be at a certain income level or below to be able to move into that affordable housing project. And that's a bad word, because the projects.
Projects.
Mhm.
I'll tell you, it doesn't look like projects. They're very beautiful apartments.
Mhm.
And they're 2 and 3 bedroom apartments. So each year, approximately, we develop a property, an apartment complex. We have 8 or 9 of these projects around Maricopa County,
Mhm.
Nice.
and it's very successful. And we're building one right now, and it's going to be finished in March. And it's going to be the very first affordable housing project that is built on school district property in the state of Arizona. It's in the Isaac School District. So it's going
Wow.
to open up Pandora's box for other developers to go on to school properties and work with schools, so that we can start to build more and more affordable housing with the help of schools and churches.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So UMOM's model is already growing then, because
is.
you're building housing. That's
It is.
awesome. So
Yeah.
if somebody wants to make a huge donation, they know it's going to be building more housing.
Yes.
Exactly,
awesome.
and affordable housing specifically. Also, another kind of interesting thing, Chet, is we recently did a massive, very costly remodel of some of the main campus, because we were seeing more families with like more than 6 or 7 people. So instead of now just mom and the kids, or mom and dad the kids, maybe the aunt or uncle or grandma or somebody needs to come along. And so we redeveloped, I don't know how many units to hold more like 8 people, I think.
Yeah, this is a big deal. I got to take the time to explain it, because it's
Yeah,
such
and
it's such
we
a
have a
cool
lot of time.
project. So
Yeah.
I mean, you got to start with the fact that we're a 1959 campus, and the only thing cool in 1959 was this hotel back in 1959 and a Cadillac in 1959. So today in 2024, that campus needs a lot of love. And Wendy's right. We had to go through and think about a rehab project. So 2 things are happening at the same time. One is that the buildings need love and renovation, and that costs money. And number 2, our families are getting larger. The families who are coming to see us are getting larger, multi-generational.
Extended family.
Yes, so the mom and 2 or 3 kids we still see, but now we're also seeing fill in the blank, right?
Grandparents.
Grandparents, couple of cousins, mixed, blended families. So that room in 1959 that we have on the campus that could only fit 3 or 4 or 5 now needs to fit 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
So it's a $15 million project. To your point, what are we spending our money on? That one right there. We've raised $12 million so far. Got $3 million to go, and we're going through building by building by building, renovating and expanding our capacity. In one area that we're expanding our capacity is exactly what Wendy talked about. In fact, our very first grand opening of a new building is in 2 days. It's Wednesday.
Wow. Really?
And it's 24 rooms, and we knocked out a wall, and now those in each of those rooms, so now they can accommodate larger families. We are the only provider doing this in Maricopa County.
Well, I asked you to clarify because I remembered that UMOM was part of the model was that you were literally building new housing. It wasn't just a set cap number of rooms and trying to get families into those rooms, I remember that UMOM is actively building new housing too. So that's why I wanted to ask that question.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah, and it's an active campaign. So as the funds come in, we just keep building. It's a working capital campaign.
But that's why UMOM's the best to donate to, because a lot of other shelters are not doing that and building new housing and expanding the number of affordable housing units.
Correct.
That's
I agree.
That's very rare.
This is to me number one
Sure.
that everybody should
It's a
donate
really
to.
special
You have to at least
foundation.
donate
Yeah.
to UMOM.
Speaking,
So, question: if somebody is in your program, you've helped them get a job, they went out and they're not successful with that job, and they lose the job, can they come back?
Yes.
And it happens.
Yep.
Okay,
Sure.
so they can come back.
Sure it
Yeah,
does.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to pretend that 100% of our people are successful. Life happens to everybody. But sometimes for our population, life happens a little faster and with a little bit more trauma for some of our families.
Right.
They may lose a job, they may have something come up, a medical condition, a bill they didn't expect, and so you're back to the drawing board.
Because
Maybe-
3 months seems kind of short.
Well, it is.
6 months would be better.
It would be better, but what do you think the size of that wait list would be if it's 300
Right.
now? What do you
Right.
think that would be if we held on to them for 6 months?
And also, it helps them push people faster to get on their feet faster. If they had
Yeah.
more time, it would inspire people to do it slower.
That's true.
That is
Good
very
point.
true.
Yeah.
Good point.
So
That's
there-
You
true.
get comfortable, you get extra comfortable. That's why
Yeah.
when you walk around UMOM, you'll notice that, and I don't mean to be, snarky about this, but you don't see a lot of TVs or ESPN playing and a place to hang out, family rooms.
They're there to
it's-
work
It's
and
very
learn.
nice and it's very functional, but
It is.
they're there to work. They're there to get two things. What are they doing?
Working.
Jobs and housing.
So can we come and take a visit?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
We
Oh,
would
okay.
love-
And,
Okay,
it-
when
and
do
to
we
your
do that?
listeners too.
Anybody
Oh,
can
well,
come
well,
down
well.
for a
But it's
tour.
awesome that you have a Boys and Girls Club on site, because then for the kids there is still something fun. It's
Yeah.
like I remember when I was a kid growing up, going to the Boys and Girls Club to play basketball or like foosball was always like one of my favorite places to go. So I'm sure that gives those kids a sense of community and place to hang out.
Yeah, it does. And there's a whole activity center on site too. So in addition to the basketball court, there's areas to do like crafts, and there's cool murals that the kids even get to help like paint and do stuff with.
Exactly right.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So is there
So-
art lessons and all that?
All of it. We
Music?
partner with other agencies that come in and support Boys and Girls Club. So you'll see them facilitating those classes.
Yeah.
I love it.
And a nice playground.
So you're
Outdoors,
you're a nonprofit.
Yep.
Obviously, and I'm curious about where some of your major source of funding is. Do you get federal money, state money, or grant money, all the above?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah.
So it's a $22 million a year organization
Oh,
to run this.
wow.
140 employees, about 24 board members. So the breakup, if you looked at visualized a pie chart, if you will, you've got about 14 million in government
Mhm.
grants, big ones like HUD,
Yeah.
state
Great.
and your municipalities, DES, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a specialized government grant writer, and
Yeah.
we've been doing that, and we've been for years.
Yeah.
And then you've got about 8 million in private fundraising,
Oh,
and that includes everything you would think a nonprofit would have, a gala,
right.
you
right.
know, a 5K,
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have that?
grants.
Yes.
Yes.
When is it? When's
The
your
gala
gala?
just passed.
Yeah, we just had our gala at the end of September. We raised $750,000. We had 350 people attend at the Phoenix Art Museum.
Yep.
And it was
I
fabulous.
would have known
Yep.
about it because I would have brought 10 people.
In fact, our own Helpings Cafe catered that whole thing.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
It was a very successful
Yeah.
event. And then
That's a
in
big deal. That's really cool.
In 2025, it looks like,
Mhm.
Wendy doesn't even know this, it looks like we're having our very first 5K in March.
Yay!
Oh,
so
Oh.
Okay.
A
Yay.
5K run, walk.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
what would that donation be?
Walk
You know,
don't
I don't
run.
really know yet. We're in the beginning stages. I perceive like mothers racing strollers down the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Something really cool.
I like that,
Right.
actually.
Maybe you need waivers for that, but I think you
I'm
gotta
into it.
separate yourself from the competition.
Why does he
that's a
remind me
great
of Will
idea.
Ferrell?
I don't see it
Yeah.
at all.
I do.
Yeah, everybody has to run with a stroller. I like
So
it.
we're going to try that. I think it's going to be March 8th,
That would be
but
hilarious.
we're planning it as we speak. That's a brand new UMOM thing.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
love
I want to do it. Sign me up.
Well, if you don't have a baby, you could replace it with a watermelon. Either way,
How about my dog?
Dog.
Yeah, my dog.
Yes, pet races.
Yes, I've got it.
There's a lot of things we can do with this.
I love it. And so that would be March 8th, and the gala next year.
So the gala will be September, October. Still working out the details, but
Mhm.
it's always going to be fun. It's going to be a great place. We'll have those answers before the year is out, and it'll be online.
Okay.
Our website is pretty cool. You can get everything.
And what are the
at
tickets for that?
umom.org. What were the tickets last year?
For the gala?
Yeah,
Oh, I can't remember.
I mean it was
$400.
probably $400
Yes.
a pop. It's
Yeah.
a little bit upscale. You got to
Mhm.
dress up a little bit.
Yeah,
We used to have a
that's not
Western event.
unusual.
Yeah, that's correct.
No,
That's
it's right in there. It's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's right in there,
Mhm.
in the upper tier, and it.
Valet $650.
Child Hub's 1,000.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe you need to raise your
Yeah, I might
prices.
be
I don't
mis-
know.
I might be misquoting, but I want to
No,
say
I
it's
remember
4 or
the
5.
tables. I remember the tables being about $5,000. So a $450 ticket is about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Well, this is incredible. How did you get involved with all this, and what did you do before?
I mean, I've been.
You're so lucky to be
He came
involved
through
with
the
this.
program.
I came through
Oh, yeah.
the program.
We like to hire from within.
No, there are people with lived experience
Yeah.
that have been
Mhm.
hired that have come
Yeah.
through programs and they've done very well.
Yeah.
I have not. I'm a retired Air Force guy, and then
Oh.
when I left the military, I went over to corporate America, and I retired as an executive with a big company here in Phoenix. Their headquarters is in San Antonio, and then the funny story is because of my community-like job with that company, my wife and I were out at another one of the many rubber chicken fundraisers that we just talked about.
Yeah, right.
And we got in the truck, and she said, when are you going to stop faking this? And I said, what does that mean? And she said, every time people ask you what you do, you spend about 30 seconds talking about your job, and you spend 15 minutes talking about the nonprofit that you're involved with. She said, you should be doing that for a living.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
I left 18 months later, and I
Wow.
started over in a brand new sector, the nonprofit world.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it's the
Wow.
best decision I ever made.
Cool.
We were up in Wisconsin. Kids were, they made it through college and on their own.
How many kids?
4.
Okay.
And UMOM, I got the phone call saying, hey, we're looking, and are you interested? And I had been to Phoenix, lived in Phoenix 2 times before. So this is my 3rd time back.
I love it.
I was here in the 80s at Williams Air Force Base.
Yeah.
I was here in the 2000s with corporate America, and I came back in 2020 as a nonprofit.
Oh,
leader.
just 2020. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years, right?
That's incredible.
And each time
Yay!
I-
We have to
Each time I come back, we add 1 million people.
Congrats that you.
Yeah. Exactly.
At least.
Don't
Congrats
leave
that you're
anymore.
helping people.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
No, I love it. I've got, this is the best role I've ever had.
This
and-
ain't a 9-to-5 job, is it?
No.
Oh, baby, this is 24/7.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's a good
Yeah.
24/7, right?
Yeah.
It's stress and jubilee at the same time.
Ah.
So do you
Stress
ever
and
see the
jubilee.
success stories afterwards? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I see
Tell
them
us
all
about
the
that.
time. I talk to people all the time. My staff tell me about it all the time because UMOM is so integrated. The campus has employees and our participants together.
Yeah, this is
Right?
what,
You hear kids
yeah.
screaming, dogs barking,
Yeah.
and those are just my staff.
Yeah.
Right? So it's crazy. Yeah, I would say one of my favorite stories besides the senator coming to visit last year was we had a board meeting on a Tuesday night, and it lasted till about 7 p.m. and I was tired and stressed, as I always am after a board meeting, because I want them to go well. And everybody's leaving. You're at the tail end of the night, and I'm a morning person, so we're picking everything up, and I'm tired. And I'm walking down the stairs. It's probably 7:30, and there in the lobby there are these large blue bins on wheels, right? And those bins are only used for 2 reasons: 1, you're moving in, or 2, you're moving out.
Ah.
And I saw this young lady and a couple of kids hanging on her legs, and she appeared to be moving out. and I love it. I make a beeline towards her, and I say, "Hey, are you moving out?" And she says, "Oh yeah." And I sat down on the stairs and I said, "Would you sit with me and tell me?" And we sat there for 30 minutes, right? And she told me her whole story. 7 weeks homeless in her Chevy Chevelle behind a Walmart. Got a job as a marketing coordinator, making $21 an hour. Got an apartment in Glendale, a 2-bedroom apartment. She was excited. She was nervous. Again, like the staffer on the basketball court, it left a mark on me. I drove away thinking, "Oh yeah, baby, that's why I do this work right there."
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. Oh my God.
And I bet that is more satisfying than any paycheck you ever got from your old job. That knowing you're truly helping people.
Well, it is. I've had a great career, Chet, and I've had some nice jobs, and they made me who I am today, successes and failures. And I just got to this point where I'm at the end of my career, not the beginning. I'm 63 years old. I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but right now, right here at this moment, this is the best I've ever had. This kind of work, and to work with talented people and to help out the community. I don't know how it gets better than that.
Well, our longest running theme on this show has always been sustainability, and there's literally not a more sustainable thing you could do to be helping people get back on their feet with a job. So that's amazing.
Love that. Chat. Thank you.
But so the only way that UMOM could possibly improve is for it to expand to more cities and more states. Is that hopefully part of the long-term plan?
I don't know if that's long-term. Sometimes, Chet, bigger is only bigger. Bigger is not necessarily better.
Right.
And I explain it this way. I would rather have 150 rooms and help 600 families and 600 single women and do it better than everybody in the state of Arizona than to be so big and do it halfway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in my wildest dreams, would I love another campus on the other side of town? Hell yes, I would. But I also know that it costs me $5 million a year just to keep the lights on, right? And with the inflation and the real estate prices today, and to try to think about another shelter and to raise another 15 million, I don't know. Yes, in my fantasies I'll do it, but I think sometimes grounding, I'm thinking we just want to be the best at what we do.
Also, people maybe don't realize how scary it can be sometimes running one of these foundations, especially one this big that requires this much money, because you have to figure out, you kind of have to try to budget, but you don't know if this year's donations are going to be more or less. And as we talked about before, sometimes you have the more reliable stuff, probably like HUD, but then, you know, we've been the beneficiary of some other big time donors, both locally and from a national scale. And sometimes they're donating for many, many, many years, and all of a sudden
Stops.
they change something, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, how are we going to replace that $5
Well, that's why it's
million?
good to raise awareness, because then more people will know to donate.
Was it last year or the year before, where halfway through the year we had a major shortfall, and it was like panic city.
2 years ago,
2 years
we had a
ago.
shortfall. We had
Big shortfall.
had to make some changes
We
quickly.
recovered it, but
And we recovered, and but that's why you have to run this like a business.
yeah.
And you have to think of it as a business.
Yep.
This is you can't just build and then lose a donor or 2 or 5 and it's
Now you've got
I have a question.
shelters closing.
What about at like a Suns game or, you know, a Diamondbacks game, to have a little mini commercial up there with somebody, you know, a little video of how you're helping
But it's
people.
some type of an ad with one of the Phoenix Suns.
Yes.
And then they could promote it on Instagram.
And you can have somebody saying, donate
millions
right
of
now.
eyeballs.
So
Millions of eyeballs.
These sports teams do a little bit of that, and sometimes we've been the beneficiary of that. But we could always use more. And
Yes.
sometimes that's a paid advertisement, and sometimes you're lucky enough to get it granted to you by that sports team's
Was
foundation.
it last year or the year before, one of the Suns players personally came and took a bunch of our kids shopping? which
Yeah.
was like
That's
the coolest
amazing.
thing
Yeah,
ever.
that was just last year, and a couple of years ago at Thanksgiving, I would say 60-70% of the whole Phoenix Cardinals football team came out and helped serve Thanksgiving dinner. That was pretty awesome.
That's
That is
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I worked right next to all of them and some of their plus ones out there, and I would tell you to a person, they were all gentle and authentic and real, and our families loved it.
I bet.
Because I think that could bring a lot of money in.
Yeah, sometimes that's just that dignity piece that the families, I would love for it to bring money, but I would also say the families, they're seen and they're appreciated, and they see that the Cardinals took the time to come out, and that makes them feel good.
Oh, that's great.
Like they're
Oh, yes,
noticed.
exactly.
Somebody, all right, sometimes when you're experiencing homelessness, people see or look right through you.
That's right.
Right, you're not a human being. You're just a figure, and so to have conversations with, some of those Suns or Cardinals players, that's pretty cool.
It's
And,
really nice of
the
them to do
reality is, many people who are homeless never thought in their wildest dreams they would ever be homeless.
Absolutely. It's not
It's not.
a lot of
I mean,
people's
it can happen
perception of it can happen a lot easier than you think.
especially in the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, since
can
COVID.
happen
Since COVID.
Yeah,
easy and fast.
since COVID.
Yeah, all kinds of families are in a position that they never dreamed of, and their rent
Yep,
that may have been
exactly.
$1,100 a
Yep.
month is quickly $1,700, $1,800, $1,900, and you have an increase like that, or a medical bill, or
That's how
something
it
like that.
happens.
You're all of a sudden you're on the outside.
It's
looking
not just
in.
people who are strung out in
No,
drugs
no,
and blah blah
it-
blah.
it's
This is
it is
normal
not.
families, normal
Yes.
people.
Yes. And as Jackson alluded to earlier, some of our women are unfortunately running from domestic situations.
Well, that's very common. Yeah. So, but what impresses me is just that there's so many moving parts in an organization like this,
So many.
and just to to keep this organized and going is no mean feat at all. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Very
We're
astute.
we're really blessed to have some great employees.
Yeah.
What about
We
volunteers?
really
Are
do.
you looking for
We
volunteers?
do. We are. We're
Yeah.
always looking for volunteers. We have a full-blown volunteer program.
Oh,
You
of
can
course.
you can go online and sign up. It's easy peasy.
Yep.
We have we had a bunch of construction people out today and tomorrow. Like, I'm talking like 50 guys. Right? And you know what they're doing out there? They're fixing things with our facilities guys.
Oh, wow.
So I'm on a 7.5 acre campus, and just like I mentioned how some of our clients defer their health maintenance, well, we defer sometimes our facilities maintenance, because you gotta take care of the 1959 campus, and they're there fixing things from sun up to sundown
Wow.
today and tomorrow. What a volunteer project
awesome.
that is.
Yeah.
That is
Massive.
incredible.
Imagine if you quantified that and put a dollar amount. on
Yeah,
it.
massive.
Wow.
So are you looking for volunteers to come and help serve the food, or what?
So not as much as that, not that much anymore. Only since COVID, you don't want people handling food. Isn't that funny? The volunteer experience changed post COVID.
Mhm.
So in the warehouse, you got a lot of sorting. You've got a lot of clothing closet work. You've got some things we can do on the campus. There's all kinds of things you can sign up for. There's also ways where you, as a company or a church group or a men's group or a women's group, could put together something like welcome kits or move out kits on behalf of UMOM.
Oh, that's
and then
nice.
deliver them to UMOM, or do it on site at UMOM, and we can cater that lunch if you like. It could be a whole morning experience,
Team
something
building
special.
or something.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
So we talked about the gala. We talked about the upcoming 5K. Are there any other fundraisers or events coming up, or should people just donate through the link?
Yeah, umom.org is always there.
Yeah, and it's always updated. It's like you already mentioned, those two events, and then you've got volunteerism and whatever else we don't have planned that's going to get up there. It'll be online. But again, don't be afraid to, if you've got something you like to do and you want to run your own fundraiser or your own diaper drive or your own fill in the blank, we would love that.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, why don't we come up with something, Wendy, that
Yeah,
we
let's
can
do
do within the green room, because we're here saving the planet.
One
One
show,
show
at a time.
time.
I feel like everybody is celebrating these national, it'll be like National Coffee Day or something ridiculous, but I haven't heard of one that's like about charity and donating. So there should be something like that we create. If nobody else will, then we can do it.
And I want to say that when people, if you're out there listening and you're going through a hard time, sometimes if you're, there's a lot of mental health, depression, and sadness right now that I'm hearing about. I think that something that lifts you up is when you help others. And volunteering makes you really feel good. And I know when I was going through my divorce, the beginning of my divorce, I was so sad. And anyway.
Yeah, it does. It's therapeutic
It made
to
me
help
feel good
others.
to help
Well, it does.
child help and crisis nursery. It really, I went almost every day to crisis nursery, and it makes you feel good.
It does. It really does.
I would see those kids, and they would just come running. It really made me feel good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's a great idea. I love it.
I think it's our part of our human nature to crave that a little bit. Oh.
So, do you have any other success stories that you would want to share? Because we only have a few minutes left.
We have like 3 minutes.
I wish I could remember. I think it was 2 board meetings ago. Every board meeting, they share a success story, and some of them are. I mean, they're all beautiful, but some of them are just really incredible. And I wish I could remember
Sometimes though, they're
specifics
just simple.
of the last
They're
one.
just simple. A lot of
Sure.
folks fall through the cracks and they end up experiencing homelessness, but they still have a job.
Yeah.
Maybe they only come to us for 30 days. They just need a break. I
Yeah.
see that all the time.
So they
Or
keep working,
we've
and
got
then
like
they're
the one
cars.
lady that started her own bakery that's very
She
successful
was
now.
enormously successful.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
There's
it?
all- there's
Where's
all-
the bakery?
On the west side, I think.
It was on the west side.
Okay.
I'd have to look up the
Well,
name of it. But
I think it would be fun to do a show with a success story, like bring
That
a
would be
couple of people.
amazing.
That would be really nice to
I
do
would
that.
love that.
That'd be
That'd
great.
be great.
With somebody that's really been through your program and they're doing great now.
Love
Yeah,
that idea.
I would say
Wendy, can you set that up?
Yeah, we can
it's
work on
not
that.
talked about much, but a lot of our success also is with our employees. This is a hard job.
It is. Oh my gosh.
This is not like anything I've ever been a part of. This is, you've got to sort of drink the Kool-Aid and be in this. You got to be all the way in. It's not a normal job. You're around trauma, you're
Yeah.
around difficult stories, you're around highs, lows, you're taking care of families. It's
no joke.
Well, it's a
not
job
for
that's more than a
everybody.
paycheck because you're literally helping the community and
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
helping people at a very, fundamental
Yeah.
level.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
more than just a paycheck.
It is. Working at UMOM's probably almost like working in an ER or something. To Jackson's point, you're going to see so much trauma and
okay.
hurt and pain and horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have this opportunity to turn that around and really, really impact and help people.
Yeah, those are great stories for employees. And when I say it's hard to work there, I'm not talking about me. Right, I got it easy. I'm talking
people
about
way
case
closer to it.
managers
Yeah.
who are
yeah.
assigned like 15 families at a time.
But making those big decisions is a lot of pressure, though. So it's humble for you to say that, but there's like all this demonization of CEOs, but there's a lot of pressure that rides
There
on making
really
those
is.
decisions. And if something goes wrong, everybody blames you. So I don't know. I feel like CEOs deserve more credit. They might be overpaid in some hemispheres, but they do a lot and their jobs are high pressure. So
Very.
we appreciate you.
We
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you do.
He's been doing a phenomenal job too. I
And
can
we'd love
report.
to have you back.
I'd love to come back.
We'd like to have you back with the success story.
I love this
Yeah.
idea.
Right?
let's
That'd
do
be great.
Next
Yeah.
time.
And maybe
Wine.
before then,
Yes.
you guys,
Next
yeah.
time we'll have wine.
Yes, and before then, you guys should all come tour the campus.
Absolutely.
And then we'll bring on a success story.
Okay.
Love that idea.
Fun.
We're all here right now. When?
Do the follow-up show.
We'll schedule it off
November,
the
December.
Next week.
show.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
We need a little time, but yeah.
Okay, donate to you, Mom.
Yes, please.
Donate. It's the holiday season. They need the funds.
The next
$400
time you
tax
complain
credit.
about the homeless issue or homeless crisis, right after you're done complaining, send a donation to UMOM. Because then you're actually doing something to help. I know
right.
so many people who complain about it, but then it's like, what have you actually done? So
Thank
now you
Chad.
can do something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.